Why bass, and how did it all start?
Well, I come from a whole family of musicians, so music was always around my life from when I was just every time I can remember. My mother was a singer, my father was a music historian, my oldest brother played guitar growing up. And why I play bass, there are a number of stories. One is that one day I went to there was a rock band playing in the park, and I heard this sound, and it sounded like a band, like 1970. So I got on my bicycle and I rode to the park to see what the noise was. And the bass player had a red sparkly bass with a white curly cord to a custom amp that had the gray padding and the chrome portholes in it. And I said, oh, that's so cool. So I wanted to play bass. And then I heard Roundabout by Yes by Chris Squire, and I was sold for life.
All right. You played with the biggest stars and the biggest guitar players. Who was the one that you loved working with most?
It's impossible to say. It was like apples and oranges. It was so great. I met Stevie Vaiem when we were 18-year-old freshmen at Berklee College of Music, and I played on his audition tapes for Zappa, and then playing, with recording the Flexible album, and then through him meeting Joe Satrianim and being part of his band when he got the Jagger gig, and Surfing with the Alien went triple platinum, and it was just really. I grew up listening to instrumental music like Miles Davis and Mahavishnu and Weather Report, and it was really exciting to be part of sort of what I felt was the next growth of that, which was improvisational music and experimental music, but with electric guitars, a more rock setting. And then, I love, Frank Gambale, completely different kind of guitar player, and, Eric Johnson on my records. Carl Verheyen, a blues guitar player I play with, is just fantastic. Alex Skolnick, who I work with. So I'm lucky to know lots of great musicians.
Yeah, you're a very versatile player, and you're very easy with most of the genres, music genres. But which one is the let's say, your favorite one?
That would be impossible to say. I think maybe I wouldn't say I have a short attention span, but I certainly like to be challenged. I do Sudoku every day and puzzles, and I read, and the same musically. I love playing solo bass, but if I do this for a week, I look forward to playing with just, big band, playing my upright bass. So I love the challenge of doing different kinds of music.
Okay, you're also, your technique is excellent, but I'm pretty sure that out of all those techniques like tapping and harmonics and harmonies, which one is your favorite technique?
Well, what I tried to accomplish tonight was to show that, just me and a bass without backing tracks, a looper, effects, could be interesting for an hour and a half. And the only way to do that is when I'm playing solo bass. Every piece is a story, and I'm trying to tell a story that will make you happy, or sad, or nostalgic. And so by using the different techniques, I can use more interesting vocabulary to tell a more interesting story. Because if you're a bass player and the story you're trying to tell is, look how fast I can play E minor, it's a very boring story. So I would hope, like I said, the techniques are just so that I can make more interesting music, put more colors in the music.
After that many years on stage and traveling the world, and having the best techniques, do you still practice, or you just jam?
Man, I practice all the time. I'm playing upright bass now for the first time in 30 years, and it's what I live for. It's what keeps me alive, and I think I'm getting better, without a doubt. And I practice. I love to just read music, sit down and read treble clef, or work on piano music, sight read music, and I love to practice, and it's what keeps me gets me up in the morning.
What was the longest gig you had? I mean, the
longest?
I mean, the longest performance you had? Because in Amsterdam, I think you played like 4 hours.
That was pretty crazy. You know, well, I mean, I remember doing a cruise ship gig, and where we had to do, you know, the old people dance show from 2 to 3, and then play behind the bingo at 5, and then the dance show at 8 to midnight, and then the dance set at 2 in the morning. So that probably a cruise ship was pretty long, but that show in Amsterdam was ridiculous. But hey, man, it was a great challenge for a great cause, and I love being challenged, mentally, physically, or whatever. I like to see what I can do.
Okay, the last question is, what would you suggest to young guys who want to pick up bass and play? Where's the path? Which one is the path to accomplish the best in bass business?
Everybody has a different path. Everyone is taking a different path. I would say, there's a lot of work for bass players, because for every 20 guitar players, there may be 2 bass players. And I would say don't get locked into one kind of music. Like, don't say I'm just a metal bass player. Learn some funk, learn some jazz. Because if you're a bass player who can play different styles, shows up on time, is sober, and knows the songs, and is dependable, then there's definitely work. And it's fun. And don't just sit in your room and practice. Join a band. It doesn't have to be the perfect band. It could be a pop band or wedding band. Just get out and play music with other people, because that's where the fun is. And that's also how you will meet people that are promoting music, people like you, that are forming bands, that are your audience. You know, don't just practice in your room. Just join a band and get out and play music.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. We're done.
Woohoo!
Yeah.